In the East, people value words differently. Eastern sages have always advocated for speaking less about oneself. In modern times, filled with noise, where every thought and action immediately end up in social media posts or arrive at your acquaintances and friends' devices as voice messages in other messengers, the value of silence is often lost. Nevertheless, in the traditions of Eastern wisdom, restraint in speech is considered not only a virtue, but also a fundamental aspect of the spiritual growth and happiness of every individual. In cultures such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, and others, there is a deep understanding of the importance of knowing what not to speak about. What not to speak about according to Eastern wisdom. Learn to keep your own and others' secrets. Trust is sacred, and this is a common theme in many Eastern wisdom traditions. Confidentiality is paramount for building trust and meaningful relationships. Sharing personal information or disclosing confidential details not only undermines trust, but also reflects poorly on a person's character. Do not boast about your material possessions and successes. Humility is highly valued in Eastern philosophies, and boasting is seen as a sign of ego-driven behavior. The concept of metta, or loving kindness in Buddhism, teaches us to speak with humility and modesty, acknowledging the interconnectedness of all beings. Boasting arouses envy and other negative emotions in those before whom you flaunt yourself, gossip and criticism. The concept of ahimsa in Hinduism and Buddhism emphasizes nonviolence in all aspects of life, including speech. This principle teaches us to refrain from statements that may cause harm or suffering to others. Gossip, slander, and harsh words can potentially inflict wounds that may never fully heal. Instead, Eastern wisdom encourages speech that is kind, compassionate, and uplifting. Eastern wisdom often reminds us of the limitations of our perception and the dangers of passing judgments on others. The Taoist philosophy of Wei Wu Wei urges us to embrace the natural flow of life without imposing our judgments or expectations on others. By refraining from judgmental remarks, we cultivate an attitude of acceptance and compassion. Abstaining from lying. In the pursuit of truth, Eastern philosophies emphasize the importance of honesty in speech. Lies not only undermine trust, but also create discord within oneself. The Taoist concept of Zhen underscores the value of sincerity and authenticity. Truthfulness in our words fosters honesty and strengthens genuine connections with other people and with oneself. Why you shouldn't talk about your happiness and joy. Most people are envious and often don't know how to rejoice in others' successes. Most of the time, people only show joy on the surface, but deep down, they start thinking about why they don't have these achievements and successes. Imagine a typical situation at work. You've been in the team for many years, with roughly the same work experience, the same salary. You go out to lunch together, cover for each other, and so on. And suddenly your boss leaves for another job, and you get promoted to their position, doubling your salary. Do you think all your other colleagues' friends will be happy? Instead of shared joy, there's a possibility that you'll get extra problems. Of course, there are people who know how to rejoice in your victories and successes. Why you shouldn't share your problems and unhappiness by revealing your vulnerability or difficulty to other people, you unintentionally give them that information and provide them with ammunition to influence you. Eastern wisdom advises exercising caution with whom you share your problems and unhappiness. Of course, this doesn't apply to our closest people, because everyone should have at least one person with whom they can share all their sorrows and troubles. An Eastern proverb says, "Don't tell people that everything is good with you. Don't make them angry. Don't tell enemies that everything is bad with you and how difficult it is for you. Don't rejoice them, and in general, speak less. Let others sleep peacefully."